Hi, we're going to watch some Amberlynn Reid together. What a crazy, newfangled, shocking, stunning, out of left field idea for my channel. This video is called Diabetes Results and Unexpected Unfortunate Diagnosis Weigh-In Episode 9. It's only 12.5 minutes, so hopefully we'll get this done relatively quickly. In this video, I have watched it. Amber discloses that she has got a new diagnosis. It's definitely interesting for Amber's lore and the whole progression of her channel and all that stuff. I think it is going to be interesting. I haven't really bothered reacting to that many of her weight related stuff videos, but I think this one I am going to react to. I've also watched it already and done a little bit of research just because it's health related and I think there are some relevant things that are worth mentioning, so I'm going to mention them. Let's watch it together. I hope you're all ready, comfortable, excited. I know I am. Diabetes Results and Unexpected Unfortunate Diagnosis Weigh-In Episode 9. Let's fucking go.
Hey guys, welcome to a new weigh-in
Hey,
video.
Amber.
I feel like I kind of have a lot of things to talk about, so let's jump right into the 5 questions. So for the 5 questions, I get them on Instagram. I post a little thing on my story that says, ask me any questions that are weight, food, health related, and then I gather them, and I even have a list of like backup questions. Why were you so proud of yourself for not weighing in daily?
This is one thing about Amber that's always been quite frustrating, and I've found it quite frustrating myself. She goes back and forth and flip-flops here, there and everywhere about whether or not she should weigh in daily, whether it's a good idea for her, whether it's going to help her or hinder her, and there are probably, I don't know, I could imagine upwards of 10 or 15 different clips of her changing her mind about which one she's going to do. I understand it. I think especially with her lipedema and her lymphedema, especially the lymphedema, she can be massively, like, well, if you pardon the pun, massively different weights on different days, so I understand her not necessarily wanting to weigh in every day, but I think she shares here a little bit about how much she actually does enjoy weighing in every day and then the problems it causes her, so we'll let her explain that a little bit. But I thought it was worth mentioning that she has been extremely flip-floppy about the when she weighs in kind of thing.
So food isn't the only relationship that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to also work on the relationship with my vaping. That's why
She's mentioned her vaping quite a lot in the past, but she's never really, I don't think anyway, maybe she has, I don't think she's ever really admitted that it's a problem. Well, maybe she has. She said a few times that she's quit. She's definitely lied about whether she's quit or not. Hello, another quick chime in from Editing Rachel here. So I had a little look at a Mr. Snowflake video. I was watching it this morning. Under that video, somebody has commented this. Now, I am so sympathetic and completely agree to the sentiment that this person has put here. So this is what they've said. The vape is one of those things that she's denied doing, got pissed off when people said she was still doing it, and now casually talks about how she's been doing it the whole time, as though there was never any question. And because there's other bigger things going on, it just gets swept under the rug. It's the little things like that that really get under my skin, and it happens a lot. I wanted to highlight this comment because you're so fucking right. There are so many massive, awful things that Amber does. Really blatant, really clear lies, terrible, you know, just shitty behaviour that Amber does all the time, left, right and centre. And so little lies like this that are coming out at the same time get kind of brushed to the side and no one really pays attention to them because there's so many other bigger things going on. But this person is absolutely right. Amber did try and tell everyone that she wasn't vaping. She made out like it was no big deal, it was just whatever, it didn't affect her that much, and I'm sure there are clips, and I haven't bothered to gather them here, but I'm sure that she's made lots of assertions that either she doesn't vape that much or that the vaping was no big deal and not a problem. And here we can see she's admitted that not only is it a problem, but she's been doing it non-stop, and I just think it is so shitty, and it's just another fucking classic Amberlynn Reid move to lie to her audience and then expose herself accidentally on purpose. I just think it's just so poor. In her previous vlog, which hopefully you would have watched me react to by now, she claims that she was vaping a lot. She said it was just on Fridays, and then she admitted actually no, it was more regularly. She said she would vape as part of a ritual when she went out to walk Twinkie and when she went to collect DoorDash. We also know that she DoorDashes every single day, so that would mean that she's vaping every single day. That also does make you hungry and give you, you know, the inclination to munch. I can understand that it's probably not a very good thing for her to do, especially with all of her lung health related stuff, so she absolutely needs to stop. When she says here that she's working on her relationship with that, I just think it's such stupid separating, I don't know, passive language. You don't need to work on your relationship with vaping, you just need to stop vaping. And she claims here that she has stopped. She said in her previous video she's thrown all her vapes away.
But when I saw my results and I saw that I still have that little lung thing, which I don't understand like what it is, but when I saw like the results with my own eyeballs and I saw that I still had that, I immediately threw away my vapes.
So if she's done that, then the job is done, right? No need to do any more work. It's complete. Just don't ever vape again and we're done. So yeah.
quit that, even though I have highly relied on it. And I'm working on my relationship with the scale because I can become extremely obsessed with it. Like, there are times where I will literally weigh myself multiple times a day. And this is extremely
it's very, very pointless. Yeah, she's about to say it's extremely unhealthy, and it is. When you've got lymph, I mean, when you're any weight, I would argue weighing yourself every day is not necessary. If you know it doesn't work for you, then you need to not. And it might even come down to something like getting rid of your scale, or giving her, she could give her scale to Mama Lynn, who could then drop it round on a Sunday, so she only weighs herself once a week, so she physically can't do it. There's lots of practical things that Amber could do that would make this a lot easier for her. She tends to not go for those things. She tends to moan instead, rather than make the relevant changes which are available to her to make. We'll see. But yeah, I think if you don't want to weigh yourself every day, it's relatively easy to take some action to stop that from happening, I think, anyway.
Unhealthy, because I will see a normal fluctuation that happens to everybody, and I will take that fluctuation and it'll trigger me and spiral me, and sometimes it'll cause me to overeat.
I always think it's very interesting when seeing a fluctuation in your weight and your weight going up, which makes you feel bad about yourself, which I completely understand, then causes you to eat. It's so interesting. It shows so much about the human psyche, that the very thing that's making you feel rubbish and triggering you and making you feel depressed and sad is the fact that you weigh so much, and you weigh so much because you're eating so much, but you then see your increased weight and it makes you sad, so you eat more. It's super interesting to me, and I think it's very obvious that it's because people are, including myself, are using food as almost like a medicine. You're eating to make yourself feel better, and it's funny that you, in those moments where you're feeling bad, you do the very thing which is going to make yourself feel worse, and you kind of go in a downward spiral. I've often thought about weight loss and trying to improve your health as a bit of a spiral. So you feel shit, so you eat more because you're sad, then you weigh more, so you feel more shit, then you're more sad, so you eat more, and you spiral downwards like this. And one of the most powerful things, and I learned this when I first ever lost weight in 2018, I lost a massive chunk of weight. I ended up gaining most of it back, but anyway, that's the whole thing. So what I did was started eating a little bit better, lost a bit of weight, then I felt a bit happier, and then when I was happier I needed the food less, so then I continued eating less, and then I weighed less, and then I felt happier and I continued eating less, and it went up in an upward spiral. And it's just a case of starting the momentum back in the right direction, and it's very powerful.
Emotionally, but regardless, it's just not healthy. It doesn't make sense, but it is something that can be fixed, so I'm trying to fix it. So the fact that I was able to go a whole week without weighing myself is crazy.
If that's true and she really didn't, that's great, and I'm very glad. I'm genuinely very happy for her. If she's identified that weighing herself every day is making her feel rubbish and she's gone a week without doing that, that's brilliant.
You notice your face also swells when you are swollen.
This is very true. When you have lymphedema and lipedema, I have had a little Google, and it can cause you to swell in other places, not just your limbs. It can cause you to swell in your trunk, which I think is like your abdomen, your groin area, your hands and face. You can swell in all different places. So this is true. I did check.
Yes. And my mom also experiences it. So it might be like common or like genetic. Like literally in my last vlog, my last weekly vlog that I posted, I noticed it, and I'll show you guys a clip where it's like the beginning of my vlog, I am so swollen. And then towards the ending, you can like literally see how much I've deswelled. So that's why when I see people are like, oh my God, it's so like noticeable that Amberlynn has gained weight. It's like, you know, yeah, but also a lot of the times, like, you're seeing me really swollen.
I'm guilty of that. In my previous video, that vlog that she's talking about, that she's about to show a clip of, I literally looked at her and went, goodness, she's really fat, isn't she? So I actually was guilty of that as well. And sure, if it is swelling, I'm sure it is swelling. I mean, she is gaining weight. I think overall, I don't believe her weigh-ins. She's not actually showing the scale, which she always used to do. So I think she is lying about her weigh-ins probably. But even so, yeah, she does have lymphedema, so she is retaining lots of water. So sometimes she does look significantly more swollen than other times. But usually that's because of what she's been eating. If you eat a lot less sodium when you have lymphedema, you retain a lot less water, I think. So don't quote me on that, because I'm not a doctor by any means, but I'm pretty sure that that is the case. So yeah, you've gained weight because it's just water weight, but it is still because of what you've eaten, if that makes sense.
So sometimes it's a lot more obvious, like in my chin or around my eyes or my cheeks, or sometimes it's just my legs, my arms. But this was the beginning of my vlog, And then here I was at the end.
Yeah, she's right. I mean, you can see a massive difference there. Arguably, it could be the angle slightly, because she was filming from a particularly unflattering angle, and that previous shot where she's got the moon shirt on, that is one of those places where in her house when she films there, she does tend to have the camera quite low down, so it's the most unflattering angle that I would say that she tends to film from. But I think it's fair to say that she is less swollen here than she was in the clip she showed a second ago, so I think it's probably true.
Where you can tell that the swelling has definitely gone down. So sometimes I do look bigger, sometimes I do look smaller, and that's just the way it goes with the things that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
I always find it really funny when she talks about the things she has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's tough and it's hard, but you're not a victim. She does suffer with things on a day-to-day basis, but we all do. Everyone does. And you're only as much of a victim as you let yourself be and as you believe that you are, kind of. I mean, obviously there are situations where you are just a victim of what's being done to you, but when you're doing it to yourself, I don't know, I don't love this like Victim-Lynn mindset, and she gets into a bit more of that later in the video. There's a line with it, and I'm not sure where Amber falls on that line, to be honest.
Is it true that you would stay this size if it was healthy? So in one of my last live streams, I talked about the fact that like, if it wasn't for the fact that being this size was unhealthy, I wouldn't feel like this urgency or this anxiety or constantly talk about weight loss. I wouldn't care so much to lose weight. And what I mean by that is I'm not doing it for vanity reasons.
I don't think that's really true. Sure, there are health reasons massively attached to why she's doing it, but the way that she's been, the way she's talked throughout the years about how she looks and being attractive and how much that matters to her, and how she's mentioned things like how she'd love to move, if she was slim, she'd go and live in LA and try and make it in that sort of world. I think it's probably not that true that she's only doing it because she wants to be healthy. I do think that Amber should not be worrying about how she looks. At this point, the level that she's at, the severity of her condition is so bad that her beauty and the way that she looks is completely irrelevant, and in my opinion should not be a factor. She's saying here that it's not a factor. I don't know if that's true. Maybe. I am inclined to think that she does care and does want to lose weight because of how she looks, but I'm not convinced that that's a bad thing, if I'm honest.
I'm not doing it for shallow reasons. I'm not doing it for my looks. I am doing it for my health. That is why I've always been...
Well, she's not actually doing it at all at the moment. But,
very much about body positivity in the sense of everyone is beautiful regardless.
I think this is funny because this makes me think of that video she made. In fact, I pulled it up. So she made this video 8 years ago called Eating in Public as a Fat Girl. It was quite interesting.
We went into Texas Roadhouse today, and when we went to go sit down, there was this girl. To me, she looked like she was about 50 pounds bigger than I was. Either way, we were both like super huge in the restaurant. And she was also sitting at a table with her like chunky friend. And I couldn't help but almost like judge this morbidly obese girl. Like, I am morbidly obese and I'm worried about other people judging me. But yet I am sitting there almost like judging this girl. Like, I wouldn't say I was like judging her like, oh my god, this big girl's in a restaurant. I was more so looking at her thinking, I'm so sad for her. Like, I'm sad that she's obese. And I noticed how other people stared at her, yet I never noticed how people stare at me. And it's like, it really opened my eyes, like, do people look at me that way too? And I just don't notice it, but I noticed it with somebody else. I couldn't stop staring at her. Like, all I could think about was like, I'm so sad for her. Like, why is she eating out? I did think that at one point. Like, what the fuck? I am morbidly obese myself. I don't know. Like, I almost wanted to grab her and just be like, eat healthy, lose weight. It was just a really weird sensation.
In that video, she is basically talking about how she goes to a restaurant and she sees another girl, another fat girl, and she basically explains the process that she goes through of fat shaming that girl. And she doesn't do it out loud, but she's doing it in her head. And a lot of the comments under the video are very insightful. It's people saying things like, well, clearly she saw herself in that girl and they understand where she's coming from because she's judging this other large girl, but also at the same time she's judging herself. I never really know how to take that video, but I think that Amber has definitely had some instances in the past where she has fat shamed people. I don't know about claiming that she's completely body positive, but at the same time, that video was filmed 8 years ago, so people do change. I mean, I said things 8 years ago, probably, I'm sure, that I don't still believe, and people's minds do change. However, having said that, in her recent live stream, she talks about how she doesn't think that it's worth her getting tattoos because as a fat person, she feels that her getting tattoos would be like putting glitter on a turd or glitter on a shit, I think she says.
One of them should be tattoos. For real. There's a few tattoos that I want, but it's like, I don't have the body for it. That's like putting glitter on a pile of shit. You know?
And then somebody comments in the chat and says, what about Tess Holliday, who's a larger woman, she's got lots of tattoos? And people say to Amber, well, if you're saying that about yourself, that you don't think it's worth you getting tattoos at your size, are you then effectively saying that it's not worth any fat person getting tattoos? And I think that does sound like what she's saying, which absolutely isn't body positive and is fat shaming. Amber then gives a little explanation of how she thinks Tess is really beautiful.
Tattoos don't have a body type. For real. Have you seen Tess Holliday? I don't like femme girls, but I don't know what it is about her. I just looked over at all of the Legos I have not opened, and I'm like, I'm lucky. Wow. That's a lot of therapy and healing. Like, when I do Legos, I genuinely feel so, like, just so happy. And I just looked over there and I was like, that's some good quality stuff right there. Sorry. I don't even remember what I was saying.
But I think we can't ignore that that was giving fat shaming from Amber. I think it's important to fact check her when she says things like this. You know, it's not true that she's always been super body positive and that she doesn't care about other people's weight. It's not true.
Of what they look like or the size that they are, but I do not believe in health at every size, and I never have. But yes,
same health at every size is bullshit. You can say like healthy, striving to be healthy at every size, looking after yourself and loving yourself at every size, 100%. There is no joy and there's no benefit, in my opinion, in hating yourself, no way. But it's not true that you can have objective long-term health at any body weight. I mean, it's not true. And it's not true for somebody like Eugenia Cooney. It's not true for somebody like Tess Holliday. Either way, it's not true for me. I need to lose weight to have long-term good health. So yeah, I agree with her there. Health at every size is BS, and I've said that a lot of times. I've pissed some people off, but I think there are things about health at every size that are good and have a good sentiment, but there are people on the internet spewing some serious fucking non-scientifically supported bullshit. And I think we just need to be careful of encouraging people to stay in a state that actually is detrimental to their health.
If I could be healthy, if being fat was not an unhealthy thing, that I wouldn't care. Because again, this is not for vanity reasons.
I don't really believe that, to be honest. I don't really believe that.
Not fat phobic. I don't think that fat people are ugly. Nothing like that. It's strictly because I want to be healthy, I want to feel better, and I want to live a longer life. What do you mean you'd feel lethargic eating French fries? So what I meant by that is like, I feel sluggish. It's just like a sluggish feeling. Nobody feels good after eating junky types of food.
That means that she must never feel good. She must feel bad all the time because she always eats junky types of food. Just to clarify here, Amber is talking about this video here, which is called Healthy Options While Ordering Takeout, What I Ate Today, episode 8. And in this video, she shows how she ordered French fries, and she explains that she didn't finish them because if she'd have finished them, she would have felt lethargic.
And then I also got some fries. I was really craving some fries. As for a side of fries, I was not expecting as much as they gave me, so I did not finish them. It was genuinely a moment where food was not in control, because I could have easily finished all those fries. They were super good. They were salted perfectly, but I knew, I was like, Amberlynn, like, you're gonna feel heavy. You're gonna feel like lethargic after you eat all these fries. Like, there's just no reason for it.
But then in a Let's Talk or in another video, I'll put the clip here.
Does eating sweets make you tired? I've never really been the type to get tired after eating. I know people like to say that happens like on Thanksgiving and such, but I've never really had that issue, so no.
She says that she doesn't feel tired after eating, and people are saying, well, lethargic and tired mean the same thing, so you're a hypocrite, basically. Let's let her explain, and then I'll give a bit more kind of background.
I know I feel way better, way lighter after I eat a healthier meal versus an unhealthy meal. But being lethargic and tired, Those things can happen at the same time, but they are two different things. Because a lot of people are like, girl, you just said that you don't get tired after food, but now you're saying that you get lethargic. Yeah, two different things. So this was
Yeah, I mean, I googled this because I have no life, and I just googled, is lethargy different from tiredness? This is the answer I got. Tiredness refers to a temporary state of physical or mental exhaustion, while lethargy is a more profound condition characterized by a lack of energy and motivation, often accompanied by cognitive impairment. So technically, those two words do mean different things. I rather suspect that Amber didn't know that. She's not exactly a master of the English language, so I would be very surprised if she knew the actual technical difference between those two words. I rather think she was probably being hypocritical and talking shit and didn't actually know the difference, but possible I'm wrong there. It might be that she does know that lethargy and tiredness are different. If you'd have asked me, I probably would have thought that the two words basically meant the same thing. So I don't know, just another little instance of Amber being a quirky girl.
The most popular question I received this week is, why'd you go to Denny's after the hospital? My mom was hungry, and I'm not gonna lie, so was I. It was
it's just a massive string of excuses. I went to Denny's because my mum was hungry, and so was I. Yeah, you can be hungry, but you don't need to go to Denny's.
Past midnight, and we were at the hospital for hours. Neither of us ate anything that day. I was not expecting to be at the hospital that long, and neither was my mom. I didn't go to the hospital for some like crazy critical thing.
That is insane. I didn't go to the hospital for some crazy critical thing. Like, enter the clips here of her crying about the fact that she has to go because she's got this unknown health condition and she doesn't know what it is. I know she went to the hospital once and then she went back again, and she's about to claim that when she went back again it was for an ultrasound. But no, it was for an ultrasound, but it was for an ultrasound to find out if she might have a blood clot. And if in fact she did have a blood clot, I believe that blood clot could have moved along her vein and to her heart, which could have killed her. So it is a very, very serious medical condition. And what she's trying to do here is get off the hook for the ridiculousness of going from the ER to Denny's by trying to claim somehow that it wasn't serious, this medical concern that she had, which is absolute total BS, because it was fucking serious. So this is just a stupid excuse. What she should have done here is been honest and said, you know what? Yeah, it was a mistake. I shouldn't have gone to Denny's after being at the ER. But that would require her to be honest and show some kind of reflection and growth, which isn't something that she generally tends to excel in.
Directed by my doctor's office to go to urgent care, and then urgent care directed me to go to the ER because urgent care actually does not do ultrasounds. And then I ended up calling the emergency room just to see like if I can come in, and they told me I should probably get that looked at. So I went there for an ultrasound. I didn't go there for like anything critical or crazy.
Yeah, but the ultrasound that you went for was to see if you had a blood clot in your leg. That is crazy. That is critical and crazy. I think it is anyway. Like, having a blood clot in your extremities is pretty serious. As I understand it, they can move and cause you further complications. So that is serious and is critical.
What I'm trying to say is, like, there is a difference to my left leg in the last, like, month or so. So the hospital was like, oh, like, you should have told us that last night because you could have a blood clot in your leg. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That's what urgent care told me because...
So that's not an excuse. You should not have gone from the ER to Denny's. That hard cut was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen on Amberlynn's channel.
Like, people still have to eat. My mom said she was not going to go home and, like, cook something. I didn't want to come home and cook something. It was...
Yeah, but you just do it anyway, don't you? You might not want to cook, but sometimes in life, Amber, you have to do things you don't want to do. If you're not willing and capable of pushing yourself to do things that you don't want to do, your life is never going to change. Some of the best things that have ever happened to me have been things I did that I didn't want to do, but I pushed myself and I was like, for fuck's sake, just do that thing. And I ended up getting fantastic things out of it. Doing the fucking hard thing is the most powerful thing that you can do. And Amber needs to learn that so badly, and the sooner the fucking better.
Really late, I was exhausted. I know she was as well. Like, eating is still a thing that happens regardless if someone goes to a hospital or not.
Yeah, that's true. Eating is something that happens regardless of whether people go to hospitals or not. What a stupid, empty sentence. Yes, it's true, but it doesn't have to be at Denny's. So, I don't know.
And I got a salad at Denny's. So, next part.
That's a fucking lie. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. Sorry. If she ate a salad in Denny's, she would have logged it. 100% she would have logged it.
I want to talk about how my week went. So I've been going through a lot of stress, anxiety, worry, depression, some very low lows. I have shared a very small fraction of it, but majority of it is happening behind the scenes.
I think she shared a lot more than a small fraction, and I respect that. It's her right to share or not share whatever she feels. That's her prerogative, as Mr. Zachary Mike would say. But she has shared, you know, every live stream she's talked about it, every video she's shared that she's struggling and she's finding it hard. Perhaps she hasn't shared all the specific details of what's making her feel crap, and that's fine. That's completely her right. But, you know, it's not true exactly that she hasn't shared the struggles. I think I don't know, I feel like we all know for sure, without a doubt, that she's having a difficult mental health time. So I just find it so funny how she just tries to like rewrite this narrative. Also, while we're on this point, notice here that once again she's not sat centrally in the frame, she's pushed over to the side, and there's this gap here. I've seen people theorize that she does this so that people can't see Twinkie because Twinkie's really fat, and people have been mentioning how Twinkie's weight is really worrying, so she sits like this so that we can't see Twinkie sat behind her. I wonder if that's the case. Also, still waiting for an update on why you were at the vet, Amberlynn.
I'm absolutely, without a doubt, suffering in silence. So I did have...
Oh, I feel bad laughing because, you know, she's suffering, so I'm not laughing at the fact that she's suffering, but watching her claim that she's suffering in silence is mental. You know, she doesn't know what silence is. She's absolutely not suffering in silence. She's suffering publicly, loudly, on her big platform, which is fine, that's not a problem, but it's not accurate that she's suffering in silence. And I just get pissed off because there are people in this world who do suffer in silence, and Amberlynn Reid is not one of them.
Have my doctor appointment yesterday because I was able to respond to the wait list really quickly. When they sent me the text message, I accepted a new appointment. So this next part of this video I will be talking about in my weekly vlog as well, because my weigh-in videos don't get as many views as my other videos, and I want majority of people who watch me to hear this, because this...
I'm curious why, so I'm gonna let her say, actually. Let me shut the fuck up and let her say why.
This is like a big change in my life that's about to happen, so I will be also talking about this in my weekly vlog. So
okay, so it's a big change that's going to happen. That's why she wants everyone to know. Fair enough. I'm curious what the depth is there as to why she wants everyone to know this change. Let's find out what the change is.
First thing I want to talk about is Zepbound. That is the GLP-1 that I was going to go on, which is the weight loss injection. And my doctor prescribed it to me. And based on all of the research I've done, I was like, okay, yes, it is very expensive, but it is doable. So I get to the pharmacy, and turns out that is not the case at all. The pharmacy told me that the prices have raised. And it's like, okay, in my head, I was like, all right, so the first month is just the beginning dose, which is obviously the cheapest month, but my doctor told me that the beginning dose is not going to do anything for me.
Funny that she's admitting here that her doctor told her that the lowest dose isn't going to do anything for her. She started a GLP-1 3 times. I believe she's never, or at least I don't know this for sure, actually I only know that last time, and I know she's used it 3 times, last time she never increased her dose. She stopped taking it before she ever increased the dose. So it's curious that now she's admitting that that first dose isn't going to do anything, when in the past she said, this GLP-1 is rubbish, it's not doing anything. But the reason it wasn't doing anything, and everyone fucking told her, the reason it's not doing anything is because you're only on the first dose and it starts to work at a higher dose. But she wasn't having any of it, she quit the GLP-1. But now, because her doctors told her, which fair enough, I mean, they're a doctor, so I guess you believe what they say. But it's just frustrating to hear her admit this when this is what everybody was trying to tell her when she was on the GLP-1 before.
So when I increase the Zepbound, it's going to increase the price, and I don't have that money. That's okay. I am currently working on my relationship with food.
She doesn't have that money. Curiouser and curiouser. So I have done some research, and I had a little look at the cost of Zepbound, and it is hard to tell exactly how much it is. I mean, you can just Google, like, how much does Zepbound cost? I Googled that. Google says, oh, it's Zepbound with a P, excuse me. So Google says approximately $1,060 to $1,200. I've got no idea if that's true, and I assume as the dose goes up, as Amber said, the cost goes up. So I don't know how much it goes up by. Might it go up multiple fold? I don't know how many grams you do at the beginning and then how many grams you go on to. So I don't know. But the thing is, Amber's making that YouTube money, and that money is not nothing. So I'm suspicious that she's claiming here that she can't afford it. I believe she has over 200 members who are all paying $10 each. I'm one of the fucking schmucks who's paying that much money. That alone would be $2,000, and then YouTube takes 25%. So that's a good chunk of money that she would have there, which is enough, according to Google, to pay for the Zepbound. And the video that she had taken down contained her saying that she knew it was expensive and she was going to use the money from her members to pay for it.
And the weight loss injection that I'm choosing is very expensive. And I am so grateful for my members. That is where that money is going to be going now. If it wasn't for you guys, like, I genuinely would not be able to start this medicine. It's literally like another month's rent that I will be having to pay every single month.
So I feel like she could afford it. And then also, I mean, let's have a little look at her views. So looking at her views, she's got 38k on this video, 34k on that one, 43, 30, 59, 43. So looking, for example, at the month of May, so how are we 3 weeks into May? So in 3 weeks she's done, well, that's 100,000 views. I mean, I would argue she's earning good money. I don't know, I'm suspicious when she says she couldn't afford it. I mean, I don't know anything about her finances. I don't know if she's got, you know, massive credit card debt, which she may well have. Oh my god, can you imagine Amberlynn going on financial audit? Fucking hell, that would be incredible. Question mark, I don't know. I feel like she could afford it. I could be wrong, it does happen sometimes.
And instead of doing it alone, I'm going to let professionals help me. My doctor did confirm, like, your hysterectomy makes it a lot harder to lose weight.
Someone I know has had a hysterectomy and has gone on to lose a significant amount of weight. I don't know, I mean, I know, yeah, it slows down your metabolism, but if your metabolism is slower, then you just need to eat less. So yeah, it makes it harder, but it's not an excuse. And maybe she's not saying it as an excuse, although I think she probably is, because she loves an excuse. But I'm not convinced that a hysterectomy is really a good enough reason to maintain the weight she's maintaining. And
that was before I did my fasting labs, where I got results for something that literally, it makes me really emotional. It makes me want to cry, but I'm not going to. And we will get into that in a second. So on top of, like, my hysterectomy, my lymphedema, my lipedema, and my messed up metabolism, it just seems like nothing wants me to lose weight. I have so many things just...
Such a victim mindset. Such a Victim-Lynn mindset.
It's like literally fighting against me.
No. Yeah, okay. You do have things that are fighting against you, you know, that are making it harder for you, but you also have things that are making it so much easier for you. I think Amber is like the definition of check your privilege. So there are so many fantastic things about Amber's life that would make it so much easier for her than other people. So she doesn't have to go to a traditional 9 to 5. She doesn't have to leave the house if she doesn't want to. She's got money. A lot more money than people probably think. I don't really know, but I think she's earning good money on YouTube. She must be. I'm pretty confident that she is. Granted, I don't know how expensive it is to live in Oklahoma City, but whatever. I know she's got money, right? She has at least one supportive family member. She's got things going for her that I don't feel she ever really appreciates. There are people out here with situations that are so much harder than what Amber is in, and they still get up every day and they fucking make it happen. So I don't have that much sympathy, you know. I can get out my tiny violin if you like, but I don't think it's necessary because I don't feel that she deserves too much sympathy. She's got a lot of privilege.
But I'm not going to give up. So while I was at my doctor's appointment, they ask you, like, this depression screening, they ask you all these, like, mental health questions, and mine was not good. I ended up literally breaking down in front of my doctor and in front of my mom. I'm like bawling my eyes out. They're handing me tissue. Like, I had a full-fledged, like, anxiety attack right in front of him. It was really embarrassing, but it just...
There's nothing embarrassing about crying in front of your doctor. If you're struggling with your mental health to that extent, yeah, there's no shame in sharing your feelings and crying in front of your doctor. I understand you might feel really embarrassed, but, you know, if you're going to do it anywhere, that's the place to do it because, you know, they have the drugs. I meant that as a joke, but your doctor is the one who can help you. So if you're going to break down and have an anxiety attack and show your emotions, your doctor's office is a good place to do it. I side-eye everything she says. I just always kind of, look at her with a bit of a, how much of this is really true and why are you saying this? And I never know when to give credit and when to be judgmental. It's quite difficult, but I think, yeah, crying in your doctor's office is, you know, if you're going to cry anywhere, do it in front of your doctor so that they know where you're at and they can help you.
It genuinely shows, like, the level of my mental health, like even someone just asking me like in my live stream like a week ago, they were like, how are you doing? Like it made me break down. I'm feeling everything so strongly and so deeply. My emotions are all over the place and I feel really low, and just a lot of mental health problems that I do not want to speak out loud. I just have constant deep painful emotions that I experience all day long.
That is a symptom of BPD. I don't know if she has BPD. What she's just said there, and I can only take her at face value, what she's just said there is a very good, textbook explanation of how BPD feels. I'm curious if she's meaning it or if she's saying it to make it seem like she does have the diagnosis that she claims to have, which I don't believe. I think she needs to stick with the therapy. I am very question marky if she ever even signed up for DBT. I don't think she did, just because I don't know, I can only go off what I observe and the vibes and just my intuition. I feel that she's probably not in DBT. It's a lot of work, it's a group therapy, it requires a lot of honesty. I think she'd struggle in a group setting where other people are sharing their feelings and it's not all about her. So don't know, but yeah, let's let her carry on.
And it's genuinely ruining my life. Long story short, I was prescribed an SSRI to help with my anxiety, my lows, my depression, and to help with like the deep feelings of having BPD. It's not going to help regulate my emotions or anything like that. Like I have to work on that myself, but it's going to help stabilize me a little bit. So
I think that's a bit of a juxtaposition there, saying it's not going to help with my BPD or me regulating my emotions, but it is going to stabilize me. I feel like, is that not kind of the same thing? I don't know. I'm not sure. I did have a Google if SSRIs help with BPD, and it said that they can help with the symptom of anxiety, which can come from BPD, but in terms of the actual cause of BPD and solving that itself, it can only really be done through DBT. I'm very curious how these SSRIs are going to affect her. I hope they help. I wonder how much of that journey she's going to share, because I think somebody going on SSRIs and then sharing their experience and how it's making them feel and any side effects and all of that would be really valuable content. And I would love Amber to share how the SSRIs make her feel, but I don't know if she will. And also if she does, I don't know how honest she's going to be. I guess we'll have to just keep our eyes peeled for that.
We did my fasting labs and I got those results today. A doctor actually sent me a whole message kind of going over my results and talking about like the abnormal results and what it could mean, etc., etc. And regarding if I have diabetes or not, I want to show you this clip. All right, you guys, my results are in. This is my MacBook. We're zoomed in so you don't see anything personal.
It's quite ironic that she would be showing her medical portal and then say, I'm zoomed in so you don't see anything personal, but then goes on to show us the results of her blood test, which is so personal. It's just kind of funny.
To my little health portal, I'm going to click test results. So
I also think it's kind of mental that she's showing this right now. Like, I don't know, man, logging into your health portal and showing your blood test results it's very odd. I mean, I know she's doing it because she's so determined to prove that she's not diabetic, and fair enough, like she's about to prove it now that she's not diabetic, but it's kind of an ego thing. It's like a branding thing, she can't let people think that she's diabetic, and she's willing to make this content and film herself showing her fucking blood test results to prove that she's not diabetic, but then she won't prove that she has BPD. So once again, she's doing this like medical evidence proving thing for the sake of a bunch of people on the internet who don't know her, and it just makes me feel kind of icky.
We did a multitude of things here, but we're about to find out. Here's my hemoglobin.
Well, we're not about to find out because she wouldn't be filming if she didn't know the answer, so this is quite fake. She's pretending that she hasn't already looked at this, but
A1C
whatever.
To determine am I diabetic or not. All right. No. Oh my god.
That fake, like, no, oh my god. She knows, like, she'd seen this already.
Gosh. I'm telling you, 5.4 is my actual exact number that I always am every time I get this checked. So not even a pre-diabetic. So pre-diabetic would be 5.7 through 6.4. I do not have diabetes. I'm not even pre-diabetic. That is always something that is just like in the back of my mind.
Yet. You're not diabetic yet.
Always fearful that it's going to happen or is happening and I don't know about it. Just because you're fat does not mean you have diabetes.
True.
And just because you're skinny doesn't mean you won't get diabetes.
True.
But some of my blood work is a little off. Some things that are questionable that he said is something to really worry about right now. But there is something that I'm going to be going on medicine for. Turns out I have hypothyroidism. That's so hard to say for me. I don't know why. So people who have that is a leading cause of weight gain.
Okay, so that's not true. I checked, and hypothyroidism is not one of the leading causes of obesity. The leading causes of obesity are, according to this One Healthline article, so, possible it's not accurate, but genetics, engineered junk foods, food addiction, aggressive marketing, which kind of goes into engineered junk foods, to be honest, insulin, certain medications, leptin resistance, food availability, sugar, and misinformation. So hypothyroidism is not one of those things. Also, if you look at the comments of this video, the top comment, or one of the very top comments, is this fantastic person who says, "I've lost 210 pounds with hypothyroidism. Please don't use this as an excuse." And there's loads of people replying to that saying how amazing that is, and it's got a lot of likes. It's really inspiring. I think it's very important to not take diagnoses and use them as an excuse. Yeah, hypothyroidism does make it harder for you to lose weight, but I actually checked this and apparently it's not by that much. But either way, even if it makes your body use less calories, you then just need to eat less calories. It's not an excuse. And I feel like she is now going to bang on and fucking on about her hypothyroidism and why it's making it so hard for her, and she's going to perpetuate loads of rumours and loads of bullshit and basically fall back on it as an excuse. And I just think that that's really, really unfortunate that she's probably going to do that. Yeah, hypothyroidism is not the end of the world. You can still lose weight if you have it. This is just a really great example of Amber reacting to something but not actually researching. So I've done a lot of research for this reaction about hypothyroidism, and some of the stuff that Amber's saying in this video, I fact checked it and it's not accurate. So it's frustrating that she would come on camera to her massive audience and say a load of stuff that's not really fully accurate. It's just annoying. But I think we're going to get lots of videos now where she explains her hypothyroidism. Hopefully she takes the medication for it. Let's let her carry on talking.
I've constantly been like, it's hard for me to lose weight because of my lymphedema, my going through menopause at such an early age, the hysterectomy. Like, the list can just go on, and now, bam, smack in the face. I have the very thing that causes people to gain weight. Like, it's just like, I feel like the world is like against me right now.
It's I understand, you've got that list of things. It's a lot of things, as a team, they probably all do contribute, but she's lost weight in the past. We know she can lose weight again. At the end of the day, she still needs to eat less and she will lose weight. So yeah, it is really difficult and it is really hard, and I understand, but at some point you have to put the victim mindset down. You have to say, yeah, I have all of these things and they make it harder for me, but I'm going to push through and I'm going to fucking do it anyway. And that's something that Amber has never been able to do. I mean, you can see in the comments people saying, I have hypothyroidism and I've lost this much weight or that much weight. Somebody I know has hypothyroidism and a hysterectomy and lost a significant amount of weight. So, it's not an excuse. And yeah, it's hard and it's shit and she needs to sit with her feelings for a period of time. But after that period has passed, she needs to take action. And it's just going to be frustrating to sit here watching her continuously not take the action that she needs to take.
And I know that could just be like my depression talking, but I just feel really, really overwhelmed and defeated. So having the hypothyroidism...
It's so trippy how she goes from crying to not crying again.
God, I'm gonna hate saying that word. It causes like the hair thinning, so that's also like a double whammy. And it also causes like low moods and depression and exhaustion, brain fog, etc., etc. And I'm just like, wow, this is all also adding up for me. So on top of taking the medicine for that, I'm also gonna be taking a vitamin D because it was a little low. It definitely has gotten higher every single time I've gotten it checked. So that's good. But I just feel like, damn, like what next? Like I genuinely went from taking 0 medicine to now I'm going to be taking 3 medicines a day. And I just feel...
But all of those medicines are hopefully going to help you to get better. And those medicines paired with weight loss as a whole collaborative, cohesive, holistic fucking big words, team will help you in the long run. At the end of the day, you've got to sort your diet out and you will do better. Your health will improve. But if you don't do that, you're only going to end up on more meds as you get older and older. You're only going to be in that ER and in that doctor's office more and more and more as time goes on. So, you know, once again, take this as a warning and fucking make changes.
Overwhelmed and scared and frustrated. Like, I hate medicine, but I know that I have to take it. My week's been rough, and these are just things that, like, I'm choosing to tell you guys because, trust me, your girl has a whole other personal shit show of a life that she is currently going through right now. And I'm telling you, my mental health is so fucking bad, and I cannot wait for this medicine to just, like, do what it's supposed to do, work in my body, and just me continue to, like, make healthier choices and just do things that are right for me. So now
I think it's bold of her to assume that just going on an SSRI is going to kind of come through her body and make everything better. It's like the same way that she thought about the GLP-1. She expected to take this medication and have it be a magic pill that would come along and solve all her problems. And when that doesn't happen, she becomes very discouraged. So it's going to be really interesting to watch her take this SSRI and give us her feedback. I really hope that she doesn't talk loads of shit and spread misinformation about SSRIs, because I've never been on one myself, but I know that people feel various different ways about them, and I just hope that she's careful not to say anything that's just not fucking true, but I wouldn't put it past her, to be honest.
Now let's talk about the goals that I had last week, which was literally just one. Work on my relationship with food.
Shit goal. Absolutely shit goal. Can't measure it, can't check if it's been done. It's not got any proportion or any kind of time scale. Yeah, it's a really, really rubbish goal.
And yes, I have still been doing that. So I have 2 goals this week. One is I want to keep a food journal. This will help me be aware of things that I'm eating because, as you guys know, like, I'm not counting the calories or anything like that. I'm strictly just, like, making better choices. But I'm finding myself, like, later in the night being like, what have I ate today? Like, why do I feel hungry? Or why this, why that? If I have a food journal, I'll know exactly what I ate. Keeping a food...
It's funny to me that she's happy to keep a food journal, but she doesn't want to track her calories. But if you track your calories in some sort of app, it also works as a food journal. So it's like 2 birds, 1 stone. Having a physical journal that you write in with a pen is so much longer than just, and less accurate as well, than just chucking it into an app. And having both, I think counting calories is, you know, you've got to do, in order to lose weight, you have to eat less calories than you burn. So if you're not counting calories, you're in a very hairy area, especially when you've got such a bad relationship with food. At the end of the day, your relationship with food needs to go on the back burner and you need to just cut your calories. Like, you really do.
Journal is, like, one of the very most recommended things that, like, any dietitian or nutritionist will tell you to do. And my second goal is literally just take my medications as directed. And I want to document personally in my journal how I feel when necessary.
I can imagine people would say something like, well, Amber, it's very easy to just take your meds, you know, that shouldn't be a goal. But I think it's fair that it is a goal, especially if she's got any measure of medical anxiety about being on medication. I can understand that she might be quite nervous to take the meds. So I think it's actually okay to have a goal to take her medication. I haven't got a problem with that personally.
Last weigh-in from last week was 513.0, and this week I'm 516.0, and I'm telling you, I'm not surprised. I have everything fighting against me.
I hate that mindset. It's not true. You don't have everything fighting against you. You have some things fighting against you. You have a lot of things fighting for you as well.
Right now, I am so overwhelmed with everything going on that I literally just cannot care over 3 pounds of a fluctuation. Genuinely can't. If it happens again next week, that's when I'll care. All right, I'll see you guys in my next video.
I don't get why she would care next week and not care this week, and how she'll call 3 pounds a fluctuation now, but if she loses 3 pounds, she'll call it a success. But if she gains 3 pounds, she calls it a fluctuation. She's just always so funny with the numbers to me, but anyway. There we go, the video's over. Cool. Okay, well, that was interesting. I'm curious to see how this new diagnosis is going to manifest on Amber's channel. She loves a diagnosis. She tends to identify with her diagnoses massively, which in a way I understand and respect. I think it could be very helpful for somebody who's been struggling with their weight for a really long time to receive this diagnosis of hypothyroidism, because it might help her to get some clarity on what's been going on, and now she knows what she's got. She can spend some time looking into how to continuously lose lose weight even though she has that. There'll be tools that she can use, and I don't know if the medication helps, maybe it does. I mean, there are clearly people who have lost a lot of weight even though they have hypothyroidism, so it's not an excuse, but I suspect that it will probably be used as one. I could be wrong there. I expect I'm probably not wrong there. We'll stay in touch with Amber. There's going to be a Let's Talk tomorrow, so we'll see what happens with that. If I've said anything wrong medical-wise and you've noticed in this video, please comment down below. I will pin your comment if it's something that I think people need to see, because I'm not a doctor and I don't know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, I have just used the doctor of Google to inform some of the stuff I've said, so there is a possibility some of it might be wrong. So if you've noticed anything wrong, please let me know and I'll make sure that everybody sees it. Thank you all for watching this video once again. I've appreciated your support so much. I'm a fucking broken record, but I really mean it. You guys are fucking fantastic. Also, there's this hilarious comment which my mum literally called me to show me because it was so fucking hilarious, about my little ravioli guy who's on this shelf here, who's upside down. Somebody commented this which just cracked me up so bad. My mum literally rung me and was like, have you seen this comment on your video? It's so funny. So you get the hilarious gold star. Congratulations, you are the funniest person in my comment section on the previous video, although there have been some really funny comments actually. You guys are just so fucking funny and hilarious, and I appreciate all of your insights. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. For the person who left that comment, here is Ravioli. I promise he's being well taken care of. He's just a hilarious guy. Like, he just, whoa, careful, Rav, Jesus. He just like randomly, fucking hell, oh my god. He's so badly behaved. Also, he's technically a ravioli, but I don't know why when I first saw him, I called him rigatoni. And now, even though I know he's not rigatoni, I just call him rigatoni. I don't know why. So that's his real actual name. It's Tony. We also have Farfelli on the shelf there. And those two guys, my little marshmallows, are called Ben and Jerry. So now you know. Okay, see you later.